What if the soul in your body isn't yours at all? In this Fringe-inspired tarot deep dive, we explore a shadowy realm where minds are overwritten, bodies repurposed, and consciousness might not be original. From hidden soul magnets to spirit hijacks, we'll uncover who's behind the scenes and who might be inside you. This isn't just sci-fi. It's a disturbing what if that gets eerily close to the truth. Let's shuffle the deck and pull back the veil. Hello, everybody. Welcome back, and welcome if this is the first time you have been on this channel. So we're going to do what we always do and hop right into question one. This is going to be a little longer episode because it is quite an intriguing subject. So question one, what force or intelligence seeks to separate soul from body? So we are going to look into this hidden agenda and find out if they're doing it out of scientific curiosity or if it's spiritual experimentation or something else. So let us take a look. If I can pick up the cards. Okay, so we have signs as the first card. Second card is Guardians of the Galaxy. Third card, Michael. Fourth card, Roadhouse. Okay, so when we look at these four cards in front of us here, we have Signs, which is a movie about invading aliens, okay? Guardians of the Galaxy is also universal aliens, different kinds of aliens, I think one human. And these guys are good guys. The ones here were bad guys. So the question was, what force or intelligence seeks to separate soul from body? So it looks like we have some otherworldly beings who really want to take away our soul, use it for some nefarious purpose. And we have other otherworldly beings who are trying to keep this from happening. They're fighting for us, Guardians of the Galaxy. This could be our angels, our spirit guides, otherworldly beings that are assigned to protect us, as we're seeing here. I don't think they're doing it alone. And they are here literally to change the dynamic of all of this. In other words, they want to clean it all up, just as Dalton did in Roadhouse. They want to clean it all up. It's a pretty ugly mess going on right now, this soul separating, and they want to get it taken care of. We have taking care of business. Well, there you go. We have Bird Box, and we have every kind of people. So as I said, they're trying to take care of business, and they're very dedicated to do so. Just as we saw in Roadhouse, he wasn't going to give up, no matter what he came up against, he wasn't going to give up, and neither are these guys. With Bird Box, there are going to be people who absolutely refuse to see anything. They won't see the signs. They won't see what is happening to other people, and it's going to be like that because there's so many different kinds of people out there, and We need to be tolerant of the differences. We need to be tolerant of the fact that some will see, some will not. This is important to keep in mind because for some, it's just too much for the mind to take, to consider that someone is stealing souls, allegedly. So let's see what the tarot has to share. We start with the Nine of Pentacles. The otherworldly beings see us in this kind of light. The Nine of Pentacles. That we have this amazing life and they don't like it. If you've seen the movie Signs, you know that the aliens that were invading wanted to basically destroy Earth. They had probably destroyed their own world and were coming to do the same to Earth. And that meant just getting rid of humans if that's what it took. We have an abundance of wonderful things on Earth, including us. And we have Three of Wands. Yeah, the energy is one of executing the plan. The Guardians of the Galaxy, they are a group, more than one, more than three. And that group, I think, is growing. But they are executing their plan to assist against the bad otherworldly beings. Three of Pentacles. Yeah, there's more than one angel, more than one spirit guide, more than one otherworldly being, all working together to help Earth, to help humans. The Emperor. Yeah, they want to show these aliens who's boss. Shown very well in the Emperor. And we have the Two of Cups. Yeah, these otherworldly aliens and or beings and our angels, our spirit guides, they all love us. We have a connection with them, and which is why they are dedicated to helping humans, to helping us. Six of Wands. For those of us who see the signs of people being different, for those of us seeing those signs, it's important for us to recognize it. But we also have to recognize that there are those who just can't take it. They just would not be able to mentally take it. So we need to recognize both. The Lovers. Yeah, this is a choice. Every person has a choice, whether or not they want to see what's happening or not see what's happening. It's their choice. And again, preaching tolerance. For those who can see, we need to recognize that there are those who cannot take it, who cannot even fathom the idea that there's somebody out there trying to separate our soul from our physical body. So let us get things picked up here and move on to the second question. This reading, this episode, Fringe-inspired episode number 7, has 10 questions, which is 4 questions more than what I usually do. So it's just great subject matter. And for those who are wondering, as you see, I've started out with Oracle, even though my channel is called Tarot by Christina. I start out with Oracle because I've discovered that Tarot kind of reads my mind. It seems to know what I'm actually thinking about a subject. So when I lay the cards out, if I have pre-thought, the cards kind of mirror that pre-thought. I find that the Oracle does not do that because I kind of get the impression the Oracle really doesn't care what I think. So it gives its own impression, and then Tarot is perfect for adding information. So, question 2. Has the technology to transfer a soul already been discovered? Has the technology to transfer a soul already been discovered? So is spirit migration in this way, is this an ancient occult kind of knowledge? Is it a hidden science we've never heard of? A secret program of some sort, or some otherworldly tech? And we have Michael again. Taking care of business. Gorillas in the mist. Now you see me. So the question again is, has the technology to transfer a soul already been discovered? Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that this is an ancient thing, something that's been going on for a long, long time, for as long as there have been angels, however long that is. And those who are involved in this transferring of souls, they are just, it's like a business to them. They are dedicated to it. They want to do it the way that they want to do it. And they recognize how important humans are in that business that they have. So similar to Gorillas in the Mist, where the poachers don't really care what happens to these gorillas. That is the mentality of these otherworldly beings where we are concerned and our soul is concerned. And they are so incredibly good at how they do it. Now You See Me is a movie about magicians who can pull off just the most amazing illusions. So let's see what goes on here further. Spirit in the Sky, Song of Songs, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So I feel like with Spirit in the Sky, this can go two ways. We talked about like our spirit guides and our angels, otherworldly beings that are on our side, that this is what this is about. However, I feel more like this is about our personal belief this time. Our personal belief about the soul. Some people, really believe that death is ashes to ashes, dust to dust. When we die, we die. And others believe that we go beyond the veil, back into spirit. And I think it has to do with the belief. Who they go after first, I'm thinking, is based on our belief. We have the Song of Songs here, which is always how I term the heart song. I think they also choose according to that, what our heart song is. Maybe it's a certain frequency they need. And when they find one of these two criteria, they move in for the steal. So it is old technology, but they do have their criteria for who they go after first. So let's see what tarot has to add. With Michael, we have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, this has been going on for a long time because the powers that be, or those who are the otherworldly beings, they know how to get us to think we're victims. And that's kind of how they look at us too. We're just victims. We're meat. That's what we are to them. Then we have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, they've taken on a lot of work to do this. But it is a business and they just keep at it. Judgment. It's something they've been called to do. Kind of like people who don't seem to have any qualms of going after gorillas. It's a calling for them. And that's how these otherworldly beings are treating it also, and how it's basically been treated all along since, again, has the technology to transfer a soul already been discovered? Yes, it's been around for a long time. And these people feel as though they have been called to do it. Now you see me, we have Ace of Wands. It's a passion, and this passion of theirs knows no bounds. Whatever illusions, they come up with so many different illusions to use on humans. The Magician. Yes, that's us. We believe in manifestation. We can also believe in trickery. So some of these attempts may be thwarted, depending on if they choose the wrong person because of their beliefs. And then we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, this song, our heart song, can really make things difficult for us. We all have one. We all have a heart song. And sometimes that communication that comes forth, that belief that comes forth, is one that causes a lot of chaos because, well, they move in then, don't they? It must be a certain, maybe when we're confused about what our heart song is. That makes more sense. When we're confused about what our heart song is, and our belief is a little bit shaky. Our beliefs might be tricking us into going another direction. That gives life a little more negative connotation sometimes. Maybe that's what they prefer, is the more negative of things. And then, yeah, they steal souls all over the world. All right, so let us pick these up and move on to question 3. And if you're new to my channel and you see how I am moving through this cleanup, I could just scoop up the cards. But I do it this way because I feel like it offers me the opportunity to make sure the cards are always mixed. So then if we get duplicate cards, I know that I have shuffled just fine, and the cards are there for a reason if they come out again. And I do the same thing with the oracles. I just kind of pick them up and tuck them in, not even using the same pile I got the card out of. So they're always mixed. Then you add in the shuffle and the split, so you know that any duplicate cards are coming out because they're meant to. All right, so 3. What is the true nature of a soul magnet and who created it? So what we're asking, is it an actual literal device, or is it a psychic frequency, a consciousness attractor? And on the actual Fringe show, a soul magnet is a device that you can eat or drink if you choose, and it will assist in transferring your soul. So first card here is Independence Day. One. True Grit. And Bringing Up Baby. Okay, so what is the true nature of a soul magnet and who created it? So first card out here, I'm going to say who created it is otherworldly beings. This movie is about aliens invading. The purpose of what they have created is to separate us from our soul. So that we're just basically empty vessels. Nothing there. And I think there have been people who have gone after these beings to try and stop them from doing the soul transfers or using the soul magnets. Because it seems that they're even going after children, allegedly. What dreams may come. The Patriot. Steel Magnolias. I feel like one of the easiest ways for them to come and do the stealing, use the soul magnets, is in the dreams. I feel like they can control a dream, and if they can't get the soul magnet into us any other way, then they can do it in the dream. They can create the dream and have us dream what we need to dream. I also feel as though they may be putting them into soldiers, those who have chosen to serve their countries, whatever country. I feel like they may be putting it in their food or water and transferring their souls in that manner. I also feel like there is a group of people, as we saw in question 1 with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel that there are groups of humans who kind of stick together and do the best that they can to protect their own, pretty much, if at all possible. They are very much aware. So is this, it's not really saying if it's a literal device, but somehow it is used in dreams, and somehow it's being used for soldiers. So maybe the tarot can shed a little light on what it is exactly. And I'm shuffling with the cards in the weird way. Okay. So with Independence Day, we have the King of Wands. these aliens are pretty powerful beings, and they have a huge passion for getting what they want when they want it. The Tower. It is a disaster when the soul magnets are used and the soul is transferred and we are basically left as an empty shell, or not necessarily an empty shell, because we're talking, they're not stealing necessarily the soul completely out of us, but they are taking the soul, maybe putting it into someone else. It's just like switching here. So the soul in the body is unfamiliar, and they might very well be leaving an empty shell sometimes. If once they transfer the soul, they realize, oh no, this doesn't fit our criteria, oh, just discard it, you know. Anyway, so it can be a bad scenario. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, there are some out there that have been trying, and I'm talking humans and otherworldly beings who have been putting everything that they've got, everything that they can think of, to save the life of humans. We have the Queen of Pentacles again. This is the life mother, the mother. So I'm almost feeling as though they are transferring souls even in the womb, allegedly. The Empress. It appears that they can create whatever they wish in our dreams. They have that power. Again, there's a lot of power here. And the Ten of Wands is showing what kind of burden they can place on these soldiers with the soul magnet situation and what it's maybe doing to them. And then we have the Seven of Wands. Yeah, this is a defense card. There are humans who stick together as tightly as they possibly can. They know what is going on. Somehow they know what is going on, and they are doing their best to defend against it. With the help, of course, of other humans and also Guardians of the Galaxy people, otherworldly beings. So let us pick up these cards and see what else we can come up with. And we do know that it seems to have been created long, long ago by aliens, because it asks who had created it. And it is an ancient type of technology. Still really don't know if it's an actual device. I'm thinking it's more something psychic, but that's just my guess. And I say that because they can do it in the dreams. They can use the soul magnet in the dreams. So I'm thinking psychic, but I could be wrong, and it didn't really answer in this layout here. All right, so we're on question 4 here. Question 4 says, have souls already been moved into bodies that are not their own? So this is kind of asking if history has been shaped by beings that are not originally born into the physical body, that specific physical body. So apparently there's an agenda. We have the Song of Songs. Yet again. That was part of the criteria. Dragonfly. Jurassic Park. Okay. And jet airliner. Okay, so the question again was, have souls already been moved into bodies that are not their own? Okay, so as humans, we have a heart song, or we come in with a specific soul purpose, okay? That soul purpose is our heart song. When we pass away, we start over again. We go in and we choose whether we want to live again, and then we go through the same scenario over and over again. I think leaving us basically a skeleton. In Jurassic Park, they took the DNA from a mosquito and they created replicas, basically, of the actual dinosaurs that once lived. That's kind of the same scenario. They're slipping these souls into bodies, and people are, it's like they're replicas of themselves or copies of themselves. These individuals may act like them and look like them, but they're not them. The soul is not theirs. And regardless of those that are trying to help, there is progress being made with what they're doing, these aliens, what they're doing with the souls. So then we have Forbidden Planet. We have the Bone Collector. And we have the Green Mile. It always comes down, and we've had other readings with the Forbidden Planet in it. It always comes down to somebody wants us, humans, and they want the earth. In this case, it's almost as though wherever these other souls are coming from that are transferring into our bodies, wherever they're coming from, they are wanting to create a planet, our planet Earth, as a place that nobody wants to be except for them. And it really is amazing how they can see our heart song, how they can pick out someone that they want to move into, take up residence in, and it has to do with our specific heart song. Again, it's with one of the other questions, it was where maybe when we're confused about what it is that we're supposed to be doing, that is when they make their move, so to speak. So for all practical purposes, we're dead, at least without our soul, but we don't know if our soul is still in there or not, meshed in with the one that took over. And with the Green Mile, it really is pretty much a death sentence, what's happening. So let us pull tarot and see what more is being said about this. We have the High Priestess. Yeah, when we don't know what it is that we actually are meant to do, when it remains a secret beyond the veil. Eight of Swords. That is when we are most vulnerable. When we don't see what's coming. Four of Swords. Yeah, see, Four of Swords is another death card. So it is a death to the human that we once were, yet a copy, still a copy. Ace of Cups. Yeah, it is definitely progress forward for the aliens that are doing this, and the only thing that I can think that might be missing, that might be giving things away, is our ability to have feelings, to have emotions. So the potential of that coming in and saving the day could be a possibility. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. Earth or the Forbidden Planet. Earth as it is now or the Forbidden Planet. We know what we want. They know what they want. Six of Wands. Yeah, they're able to recognize, somehow they're able to recognize the people that they need. And the Ace, or the Six of Pentacles. They think it's absolutely okay to ask us to share our bodies. And they don't even really ask. They're not asking. They're just requiring that we share our bodies. And then nothing is ever the same again. We don't survive as who we were. So let us pick up these cards again and move on to question 5. Yeah, I'm not sure who I thought this was going to bring forward but I probably should have known. And I'm pretty sure that there's probably humans that are involved in this as well, because that just kind of seems to be the way of things. And that those humans, think that they're safe. And I imagine they probably are until they're no longer needed, right? We see movies like that all the time. All right, almost there. Okay, so question 5. What happens to the original soul when a body is overwritten? That's a great question. So I think I made mention to the fact that we don't even know if our souls are still in that body when another soul is transferred in. So this is going to hopefully answer that question. There's always somebody that wants something of ours, isn't there? As humans, we're pretty special. Hand-me-down world. Suspect. It's a Wonderful Life. and 2012. So question again is, what happens to the original soul when a body is overwritten? So with hand-me-down world, we think of, well, first thing I think of is hand-me-down, okay, like hand-me-down clothing, hand-me-down whatever. I feel like these souls are taking on what they would term hand-me-down bodies, meaning our physical bodies. And it is definitely suspect because something happens. And it looks like here that it's almost like they're suddenly too happy. The bodies or the people whose bodies are taken over, it's almost like they are too happy about life. Not anything like what they once were. And for the soul that was, originally meant to inhabit that physical body, it's over for them. What that means, let's see if it'll let us know. Eye of the Tiger, separation, and too much time on my hands. Okay, so I feel like some of them are stuck within the body with this other soul and only able to watch what is going on in there. Still fighting, trying to fight to the best of their ability, but not having any luck whatsoever. I feel like in other cases, the other soul is cast away. Cast away where? I don't know as yet. Maybe it'll tell us eventually, but I feel like it is completely separated from the physical body it was originally meant to be in. And then whoever this soul is that takes over the body, suddenly, life is wonderful, but what their goal was, what their main purpose was, their heart song, obviously no longer exists. And they end up either doing nothing even close to what their heart song dictated or their life purpose dictated, or they kind of seem like they're just waiting for something to happen. Not going through the motions of living, but just like they're waiting for something, for maybe some kind of instruction. So let's see what tarot has to share. Kind of a really creepy concept, isn't it? Okay. Judgment. Yeah, there's certain souls, and I don't know where these souls come from. Obviously, these aliens must have gotten souls from somewhere that they have on hold, and somehow these souls are okay with doing this to humans. So there's something missing in their morals, but they're called to it. The Emperor. This is almost like things become suspect when a person is kind of suddenly appears to be very powerful, very in charge of their life, wanting to order other people around, different. And the Hermit, they're very happy-go-lucky people, seemingly very wise people, very like they've been around for a really, really long time. Eight of Cups. Yeah, again, the soul within the body, the original soul within the body, their time is up. They're being told to take a hike, pretty much. Justice. Yeah, they're sharing a body. Some of them don't get released out of the body. So the two souls have to share the body together. Six of Wands. It is a recognition of the separation. It can't be missed by the soul that is booted out of the body. They recognize what has happened. Where they go, we still don't know. Queen of Cups. This is like a very strong intuitive knowing. So maybe they're just waiting for something. They're waiting for something to change, meaning the souls that took over the bodies. They're waiting for something to change. Like I said, maybe waiting for instruction. So yes, sometimes the souls are stuck within the body. Sometimes they are separated from the body, but we still have no idea where they go. If they're kicked out altogether, where do they go? Where does the soul go? Does it cease to exist? Does it, I mean, we really don't know the answer to these questions. So we're going to move on and see if any of the other questions are asking or going to answer that. If not, I'll try to remember to do something at the tail end, see if we can get a little bit on that. So we are up to question 6. All right, so question 6. What signs betray a body that no longer belongs to its original soul? Really good question. I'm thinking, what would it matter to us as humans, as individuals, if our original soul is gone? As a human, would it matter to us? Or I think this is more talking about what other people might see. We'll find out. So we have fantasy. I wonder if this is, we have he ain't heavy, he's my brother. If this is kind of like when you hear other tarot readers talking about this person has been replaced, or this is a copy, or something along those lines. Are they talking about the soul specifically? Bringing up baby. Okay. And suspect. So we've got 2 cards that we've had already. All right, so with fantasy, well, question again, what signs betray a body that no longer belongs to its original soul? I'm going to say that they begin acting very, very differently from what those around them know. Almost as though, well, it says here, higher purpose, beyond the ordinary. So I'm going to say they kind of put on airs all of a sudden, like they're better than anyone around them, kind of feeling. And at the same time, they are very accommodating, as though trying to offset any strangeness that they may be showing. They are being very accommodating, as though if somebody says, can you do this for me? Oh, absolutely. I would so much love to do that for you because I love doing things for you, going way overboard. Okay. And with bringing up baby, I'm wondering if they find this tedious so that they're starting to actually use human babies to jump into, because I think some believe that the soul enters the body shortly before they're born into the world. So maybe a different soul comes into the body than was actually meant to. But then you probably would never know, other than the fact that maybe the baby is kind of a blank slate, maybe kind of just very unemotional, very unresponsive, maybe. Anyway, these things tend to make people suspect that something is not quite right. Frequency. If the frequency could be measured. Karma. If the frequency of these people could be measured, if their original soul frequency had been measured and you could compare the two, there would be a definite difference in the frequency of the original soul versus the soul that has taken over. And certainly if the body, or if both souls are still in the body, that would be a frequency off the charts, I think. One that you wouldn't even know what to do with. Is what's happening a karmic situation? Good question there. It says yes. It's pretty much karma. So does that mean that the soul that is being booted out of the body or having to share the body, does that mean that this is something they chose before birth to have happen? And what kind of a battle is it going to take to stop this, to stop this soul transfer? So let us pull tarot and see what more it has to share. Okay. So we have Two of Cups. Yeah, this is like night and day here with this Two of Cups as to what this person begins acting like. Nothing like their old self. The Hierophant. Yeah, they'd kind of like to be everybody's teacher or mentor, but also because they're new to the soul, they don't know the traditions. So in other words, if somebody would bring up Christmas, they might be like, well, what's Christmas? Even though as a person they've been celebrating Christmas forever. Would they know when their birthday is? Don't know. Eight of Cups. Yeah, again, I feel like the original soul is being told to take a hike before these babies are born. I think it's almost experimental doing it that way. Eight of Swords. So there's the victim status thing again. So yeah, the way these people are acting, it is definitely suspect. And you almost feel as though some of them are acting like they're better than anyone else, and others are afraid of their own shadow. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, this frequency, this is the frequency that we come in with It is a special frequency that only we have. In other words, each person, the frequency is as individual as a person's fingerprint. So everybody has a frequency. And this frequency is part of what makes us who we are, the kind of person that we are. Makes us amazing humans. Six of Swords. Yeah, it's almost like we chose to come in and have this happen. And when the soul is taken over, or the physical body is taken over, we go off to another shore, so to speak. Karma steps in, does what it needs to do. The Devil. So yeah, right now it's like we have no power. All our power seems to be, they're stronger than we are. That's how it appears, which is how it appeared in Red Dawn until it wasn't. So yeah, there's definitely signs that let people know that something's not right. And it's almost as though the body that pops in, or the soul that pops in, doesn't know the body very well or how to behave, because we don't know where those souls come from or how to behave. So if they think they're better, that's probably not the way the original person was. If they're very accommodating, that may not have been the way the original person was. So it kind of looks like it's like an opposite thing. If a person was very accommodating, then the soul that goes in is just the opposite. So there is definitely a way to tell. And again, if we could measure the frequency, that would be completely different. We would know then for sure that the body had been taken over by another soul. If we had the frequency of the original soul. Not something that most people take. Okay, so question 7. What risks or side effects occur when a soul enters a foreign body? So basically they want to know what can go wrong for the new soul, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and whether or not it's reversible, whether they can decide to leave again and put the original soul back in. We have Hidalgo. Bringing up baby again. $2012. I believe we've had that in the first question. Whoop. We don't take jumpers. Ah, man, struggling to get that back in there. Pushing tin. So question again. What risks or side effects occur when a soul enters a foreign body? Hidalgo is a movie about compatibility like no other. Two beings, a horse and a man, who are so meshed in thought, so respectful of one another, so in tune with one another, that they're almost like one being. That is how we're supposed to feel when we're born. When we come into this world, that is what we're supposed to be, is very comfortable with ourselves, very in tune to our physical selves. And I think we're more in tune as children than we are as adults. But there comes a point in time when things start to happen with this soul transfer that it is the end of that comfort. It is the end of that feeling of just knowing that you belong there within this body, within the body. Then suddenly, if the other soul is left within, we have a huge competition going on between the two, trying to decide which soul is actually going to control this physical body. We have divine timing, jet airliner again, and Jurassic Park again. So I feel like what we talked about before is that some people contracted in for this to happen in their lifetime. And it happens when the timing is right, when it was chosen before they were ever born. When that time comes, it's time for the original soul to go. And it knows this. And the copy to step in. When that happens, it is possible with this competition card that when the time comes, the original soul isn't all that happy about it and maybe doesn't remember the plan. So yeah, there's some competition to try and hold on to that physical body. But eventually it has to go. The original soul has to go and the copy takes over. Now this is telling us what happens. It's not really sharing with us what signs betray, or what risks or side effects occur. Other than the center card where, they're showing that there could be some major competition between the original soul and the new soul. But eventually, regardless of the competition, they have to eventually go. They have to, because they contracted it. So we have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, this is the new soul popping in, getting in between or trying to match the original soul's togetherness. We'll say it like that. Two of Swords. Can happen at birth. I guess there is that choice. Wheel of Fortune. Where the original soul goes, it's almost like spinning the roulette wheel. Maybe there's many places. Maybe the new or the old soul can go into another body. Yeah, I don't know. Eight of Cups. It is the competition to see which soul hits the road. And the perspective comes down to the soul that belongs, the original soul, finally has to remember, has to have a different perspective. And then justice happens. The plan that was originated before birth comes into play, and the original soul leaves the body. And the new soul is happy and content as can be to be where it is in the physical body. Now I'm looking for something here that talks about risks or side effects and whether or not this is reversible. I'm going to say it's probably not reversible simply because we've got the divine timing here. This tells me that there was a plan for this, done before birth. Perhaps the soul was approached beyond the veil, and it says, you know, you can make it easy on yourself and just say, yeah, we'll bow out when the time comes, or not. And there's a choice here, it looks like. I don't really see any risks or side effects at this point, other than, like we saw before, the signs that betray the fact that we don't have an original person. The new soul has to learn about life around them, obviously. So if they aren't aware, if they haven't studied, things are going to look completely different to those around that person. So I don't think there's any risks or side effects, again, other than the original soul trying to put up a bit of a fight before they give in to the fact that, you know, it was something they chose to have happen. Which took a whole new turn for me. I did not expect to see that. I expected to see, you know, a definite forced entry, and just us not having any say in it whatsoever. And that may be the case for some. However, in this case, it is literally saying that we get the opportunity to choose whether to be a part of this copy program before we're born. All right, so we are at question 8. So when we are done cleaning up here, we'll move on with that. And all right. So question 8. Are any of us already carrying foreign consciousness with us? In other words, they're asking, could someone else be hitching a ride inside our mind? Shadow of a doubt. Not to be confused with beyond a shadow of a doubt. Think about that. If you saw that card and went, okay, so there's no doubt, read that again. Shadow of a doubt. Signs. Night of the Comet. iRobot. Okay, so question again, are any of us already carrying foreign consciousness with us? So is somebody hitching a ride in our mind? All right, so with shadow of a doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt means there is no doubt about the question I just had. And we don't have that. We have shadow of a doubt. So there is a little bit of a shadow of a doubt that we do not have another consciousness within us, another soul. However, we've been shown the signs. So if somebody that you know has the signs or is showing the signs of having a soul in them that isn't theirs, okay, you're going to know because we've already kind of gone over the signs, right? But I feel like there is a plan being put into motion And if you've ever seen the movie Night of the Comet, everybody disappears. They turn to dust in the movie. And there's only a few people that are actually left because they slept in a place that had metal or something that whatever this force was couldn't penetrate. So they were still human, but that left only very few humans. I feel like a plan is in action to do something like this and take over massive amounts of physical bodies overnight. And then what we would see are people walking around and probably being pretty much identical, acting identically. Almost like the mass-produced robots in iRobot. Then we have the No-No song, Groundhog Day, and Will It Go Round in Circles? So obviously, this is something that we do not want. This is the No-No song. We want to be who we are. At least that's what we believe we want. We want to be who we are. We want to have our mind, our body, our soul. We want to be who we're meant to be, who we are. Even if that means that every day, day in and day out, is exactly the same. We get up in the morning, we have our routine, we go to work, we come home from work, we take care of the kids. Even if every day is exactly the same, we still want our own physical bodies, we want our soul in our bodies, right? Will it go round in circles? This is saying that there is no major plan as yet for this. It's something that's in the works. And for some, I mean, obviously, if they've contracted in, this has already happened to them. But for those who didn't contract in, I feel like somebody, and you see this creepy looking guy behind, as though this comet was created by an alien being for the purpose of taking over the planet, probably. So there's no specific strict plan for that yet, but it isn't being taken out of play. The idea isn't being taken out of play. So let us see what tarot has to say. We have Page of Wands. And this is just saying it is possible. It is possible that some of us may be carrying, but it's possible. Five of Swords. Yeah, I think what a person is going to notice first is how a person communicates. If their soul has been removed or replaced. I think one of the first signs is how a person communicates. If it's chaotic communication, or it's as though somebody has popped in that doesn't know English or doesn't know whatever your native language is. If they don't know the language. And with the Knight of Swords, yeah, it's being talked about. This scenario is being talked about pretty seriously, and there are a good number of these aliens that really want to put it into action. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, there's no more of the loving, caring, heartfelt beings or humans once the body is taken over. Page of Pentacles. I almost feel like with the No-No song that, you know, this is people saying they don't want this to happen, but it's also maybe people standing up and saying, no, this is not going to happen. It's like the Page of Pentacles is saying, come on, this is your life. Do something about it. Make a fresh start. Don't let them do this. And then we have the Seven of Cups. One of the reasons that people might decide to do it is because they don't have enough variety in their life, if it's something that they're given the option on. And the Eight of Wands. If this happens, notice this is kind of like meteors or comets. If it happens, it's going to happen very, very fast. Very fast. So if any of us are already carrying around a different consciousness, a different soul, we need to look at the signs. It doesn't look like we're going to know about ourselves other than, you know, maybe we notice that we feel very robotic or very uncaring about other people. It's not impossible for there to be somebody else in your mind, somebody else running the show, but it's not showing here that that's the majority by any case, because they're talking about making it a majority, trying to anyway. All right, so we have 2 questions to go. This has actually gone faster than I thought it was going to. I really, really love doing these readings, and they're just so different, and you never really know what's going to come out, what's going to come forth in them. So if you like these readings, enjoy what I'm doing here, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe, and maybe share, because that grows the channel and helps other people find me. And then also comment. I would love to hear what you see in these cards, what kind of story they're weaving for you. Keeping in mind that I am just one person and this is my reading, but there are many ways to read these cards. Maybe I'm missing something. You never know. I'd love to hear what you have to say. All right, so we have question 9. Is someone or something harvesting souls for future implantation? So is there a long-term agenda behind the transfers, and who benefits from it? I also take from that there is some place that our souls go once they're kicked out of our body. All right. Ooh. Gladiator. I feel like with Gladiator, that answers that question. Is someone or something harvesting souls for future implantation? These gladiators were picked to be in the ring to entertain the people with some pretty strange, horrifying competition, right? So I feel like it's this question, yes, somebody's saying absolutely yes. And, you know, with iRobot popping back up again, that tells us that, hey, we're all going to be alike. We're all going to be robotic. Then we have fried green tomatoes. Anything that is memory related, we're probably going to forget. We're probably going to absolutely not remember the relationships that we've had, or anything that has to do with the heart. We may not even know how to smile or remember how to smile. Dragonfly. That one has me a little stumped. Let me see if I can read what's on the card here, the tiny writing. Ooh. When someone you love dies, are they gone forever? Okay, so that goes back to, is it reversible? Is it possible to reverse this soul transfer? In looking at or knowing this movie, Dragonfly, I'm going to say no. It's not reversible. It can't be reversed. Then we have Love Train, Hand Me Down World, and Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast. A lot of readings that I do tend to come back to love. That the way to fight a lot of the things that happen to us humans is love, because that raises the frequency, raises the vibration of things. If we as a collective movement, if we are so high in frequency, the love frequency, is it even possible for these aliens to put us in this position or to take over our physical bodies with this hand-me-down world, to separate us from ourselves? Is it even possible if we have the love frequency going on here? I believe somebody is harvesting souls, at least the ones who have contracted out to do. They can do that. In fact, we discovered that you can't bow out of it if you have chosen to do it before you're born. However, for the rest of us, with like Night of the Comet, if we have the love frequency, is it possible for them to even harvest our soul? So let us go on with tarot and see what more we can find out. All right. We have the Ace of Swords. So much thought has gone into how to do this. So much thought. They want to harvest all the souls for a future implantation of some kind. They want to. It has been talked about and all kinds of things have been suggested as to how to go about it. We have the Nine of Swords. But apparently there's still a lot of anxiety and a lot of worry about doing it and how we as humans would end up. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. If it happened, I mean, if we are transformed, if we are harvested, we don't care. We won't care about life anymore. We won't care about memories. We won't care about each other. Nothing will matter that mattered on the earth once before or previously. And then we have the Emperor. We become the destiny, or we become the master of our souls once we leave the earth plane. Then I don't think it's possible for these beings to harvest us when we are in between lives. Let's put it that way. I know we talked about the baby, but eventually, I mean, at almost the birth point, I think the soul enters the body. So I think it can be done then, but it cannot be done when we are not in a physical form. Then we have the Fool. Yeah, this would be one way, I think. It might be a risk because can you get everybody on board that love train? But it would be worth the risk, worth trying to see if we can avoid that Night of the Comet, if they should choose to do it. And we have Four of Cups. Yeah, the love train or the frequency would certainly make them think twice. They wouldn't want to drink out of that cup because this is who they want to be, robotic. They want everybody to be exactly the same and have no emotion, and yeah. And then we have the Chariot. If they could do it, it would happen fast. It would happen lightning fast, for sure. That separation. All right, so we have one more question here. And with this one, yes, somebody is definitely harvesting the souls that they're allowed to harvest. The ones who chose to have it happen before they were born. But they would like more, obviously. They want more, more, more. Okay. And away go the oracles. Stay. These cards, they just love to slide all over the place. You think you've got them steadied in a pile and then they want to slide right off. All right. Oh, and if I haven't said it already, if you're hearing strange noises in the background, it is my Chihuahua snoring. He's not even in my room right now. He's in the other room, and I can hear him clearly. But you can pretty much guarantee every video that you listen to of mine is going to have a snoring Chihuahua. Okay, so question 10, what is the true danger or promise of mastering soul transfer? So does it lead to evolution? Does it lead to eternal life? Or is it just irreversible chaos? So if they get their way, we have the Patriot. And I'm looking at that as, I don't know if it'll ever even go that far because there are always humans willing to fight. And I know they were showing early on, being able to use soul magnets on the soldiers. But there's always soldiers going in and out and in and out. So, whether or not they can get a hold of all of them. And we have surrender. Take the money and run. So I think I was being optimistic in looking at the Patriot card. Then we've got Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets. All right, so with the Patriot, this was a movie about war because of taxes, because of taxation. So basically money. And I feel like the soldiers may very well have the soul magnet situation going on where somebody can step in, even though they might not have contracted for it. Don't know what the criteria is for that, but I feel like some of these soldiers could have been taken over by other souls through soul magnet, and they're requiring everybody to surrender. Money is a huge way to have people turn the other way, not have them see what is actually going to happen. And when we are talking about maybe the aliens coming forth to somebody, to a government or something, and saying, we will give you this much for wealth if you allow us to use these soul magnets on certain people to make them surrender to us. And it probably does happen. There may very well be some places that people can hide if necessary. Some people will have the sixth sense to say, hey, something's not right here. And then perhaps that place that these people go, those who don't want to have soul magnets or have the night of the comet happen to them, there's a tunnel of love. We're back to love again. The hardest part, I think, to considering any of this is how beyond believable it actually is. Somebody were to walk up to you and say, I'm going to take over your body. I'm going to put a different soul in your body. You'd probably laugh in their face, because who does things like that, right? So the true danger here, and really, I don't see this as an or promise kind of thing. The true danger, if somebody masters soul transfer, is that we will no longer be who we were. And if you can see this card, we have the guy looking in the mirror and what he sees within the mirror. He's not the same being. He's been transformed into something else. So I don't find, and that's under the surrender card, if we surrender to this. But again, we've got that love card. So as with many things, keeping our frequency high may very well change the tide of things. Putting out as much love as you possibly can towards your fellow man and yourself and other living creatures might very well save or keep us from having any of this soul transfer stuff actually happen. Because it looks like as time goes on, when the criteria at first were those who were confused about their soul purpose and those who had a more negative kind of lifestyle, when it all of a sudden changed to Night of the Comet, we want everybody. That is the greed. That is the greed that seems to take over, and apparently aliens are not immune to greed, which, most might think is just a human thing. So let us see what Tarot has to say. All right, so we have the Five of Swords, the chaotic communication, chaotic ideas. This is not the Patriot, the good kind. Ace of Pentacles. This is saying hold strong. You might want to surrender, but hold strong if you can. Justice. Yeah, something always happens to those who are a little too greedy. Justice will eventually step in and level the playing field. Ace of Cups. The potential to how love is shown. There's no limit to that. there is absolutely no limit. And with this Chamber of Secrets, yes, groups of people can hide someplace, but the magic that's going to change everything is going to be however you put love out there to the world. The star, some of the sixth sense comes from our spirit guides, our angels, otherworldly beings who don't want to destroy us. Queen of Wands, yep, this is passion. Passion and love. Passion for love. Putting it out there, cultivating it. This is where the strength lies. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. Don't hold on to the end, their end game. Don't hold on to their end game, which is this. They want us, they want us to be a copy of something. And as you saw, iRobot came up a good number of times. So yeah, they want us to be believing in strongly, to be fearful even. Hold on to your humanity. But don't hold on so tightly that you forget to start putting out that love frequency. Okay, so I don't feel as though the cards answered the question super clearly for this one, but I still think we ended up with a lot of really good information. And we obviously know that there is such thing as soul magnets, and there is such a thing as transferring the soul out of the body. So that is it for this Fringe-inspired episode 7. Again, it was longer than most of my videos just because the subject matter was just fascinating to me. So I'm going to give you a teaser for next week's Fringe-inspired episode 8. We go deeper into the shadows with this one, where classified experiments and forbidden science still thrive. Who's behind the veil of secrecy? And what exactly are they hiding? Episode 8 exposes the hidden machinery of black projects and asks if reality itself has already been rewritten without us knowing. You won't want to miss this one. So that is your teaser for Fringe-inspired episode 8. On the screen also you'll see a show schedule. I do 3 different shows each week, and the times are on there as well. So with all that said, thank you so much for being with me through this longer than usual tarot episode. I do hope that you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. So until next week, have a fantastic one. Take care.